Hello, World Wide Web. Welcome to the Hangin With Web Show. I'm GW Pomichter. Thanks for logging on and tuning in. If you haven't already, go on down and hit subscribe for us. And don't forget to check out the description of this video for more information about our great guests and about our partners. And keep coming back to the Hangin With Web Show for more. We are at Space Coast Comic-Con this weekend at the Holiday Inn Express in Cocoa, Florida. We thank Dave Grace and Jake Estrada for helping us get in here and talk to these great creators here at Space Coast Comic-Con. We are here hanging with Blake Ovard.
Yeah.
The co-creator of the comic Tugg, A Hero Among Us. And this is Tugg.
This is Tugg, yeah.
So really, we're here hanging with Tugg, and Tugg brought Blake along.
That's kind of the way it works.
That's kind of the way it works wherever you go, huh? So let's talk about Tugg.
Okay.
All right. So what I would ask, what inspired Tugg, but what inspired you to create a comic for Tugg?
Well, the quick story about Tugg, for those who don't know Tugg, when he was 4 months old, about yay big, he was wrapped up in a blanket and staked down next to the side of the highway.
Oh my!
That was in 2010, so about a little over 6 years ago, in Texas in July. It was 107 degrees out that day, so you know what that was like next to the highway.
Wow!
My wife and I were both animal control officers for the city at the time, and we got the call about him being out there. He was in such bad shape that they thought he had been burned, he wasn't burned. It turned out it was Demodeck mange, but it had been so extreme that his skin was basically one big scab.
Wow.
He also had about 13 other infections and just a whole bunch of things wrong with him. As protocol goes, we took him back to the shelter and we held him just in case there was an owner that would come forward. Mm-hmm. You never know, because dogs get stolen and things happen, and so you don't know who did it. And so we held him and no one came forward. And after the third day, his time was up and he was on the euthanasia list. So my wife and I decided that we were going to go ahead and adopt him and take him home. And because he had that spark that he wanted to live, you know, and he just had that spark. And so we took him to the emergency vet, which was on a Sunday because it was the first one. The emergency vet said, he's too far gone, just put him down.
Oh, wow.
And my wife was there. I was on duty, and so she called me, and I didn't understand what she was saying because she was crying when she was saying it. And we said, no, we're not going to do that. And so we took him to who is now our vet the very next day. And we met him there at the office, and he said, well, there's not much of a chance, but there is a chance. And a chance was all we needed with him. So we did the medicine for all the infections and everything, and the Demodeck and everything else, and he started getting better. And at the time, in addition to being animal control, I also am a dog trainer, so I do training. Mm-hmm. And I was training 2 dogs for the Extreme Mutt Makeover, which was an 8-week TV show for that kind of stuff.
Wow.
And so I was doing that, and they had Facebook pages, and all of our family kept wanting updates on him as to how he was doing. And so Kim, my wife, says, why don't you just start his own Facebook page, and they can look there, and you can type it once instead of 15 times. I said, okay, we'll do that. And of course, as it goes on, there's only so many times that you can say, hey, he woke up today and he ate today and he went out and he did his business today, which were all really good things at the time because it was all real touch and go.
Yeah. And
so as he started getting better, we started realizing what a personality he really has. And so we noticed that he would when he would run, because our house is an 1890 Victorian. And so we have a real big porch. And so he would run on that porch, and it would look like he was trying to take off and fly. That's what it would look like. And we realized he was a superhero when he took down his first bad guy, which was the porch swing cushion monster.
That I understand that they are quite the nemesis.
Yes, they're evil geniuses. And so he took that down, and then that was getting close to Halloween time. So we went to the Halloween store, and we found a kid's cape that was about his size, and we put it on him, and he loved it. And so when we got home, we put it on him too to try it out on the porch, and he got down in the yard, and he would try to fly in the yard. And so we said, okay, this is the right thing.
Nice.
Back to his Facebook page, he had started getting more and more fans because of his adventures. And we also started taking him, at this point he had been with us for about 6 months. So he was, his hair was coming back in and all that kind of stuff. It looks normal and all that. Well, we had a friend of ours that taught at one of the local school districts and asked if we could bring him and tell his story to the kids. And so we said sure. And we realized that there was a need at that point for an anti-bullying program and a self-esteem program, which he is poster boy child tailor-made for. You know, if anybody can come through something and still feel good about themselves.
No doubt.
And so we started doing that a little bit more and more, an anti-bullying program, self-esteem. And so we started getting more and more schools asking us to come and do that. At the same time, one of Tugg's fans, which at this point was now about 4,000 or 5,000 people instead of like 25,
wow, yeah,
right? Sent in his whole story to the AKC, the American Kennel Club. And so they nominated him for their award for canine excellence, which is their highest award that you can get. And so we thought, oh, that's really awesome. You know, he was nominated for this award because it's kind of like an Oscar. If you get nominated for an Oscar,
that's good enough.
That's good.
You made it.
You know,
that's right.
And it's
Very
the same
good.
kind of thing. So we're like, wow, this is awesome because everybody and their brother sends things in, and they get about 100 dogs that make the nomination process. Well, so it came time, and it was coming around, and that was in 2011. So it was almost a year later. And so we got the phone call from the AKC and said, Tugg was nominated for this. And we're like, yeah, thank you. We got the certificate and everything. And they're like, yeah, we just call and let you know you won. And we're like,
wow.
Okay. Well, it's everything he does,
That's amazing.
And so we came to Orlando then for that. That was in 2011. And he won the award for canine excellence.
Amazing.
And,
outside of playful comic adventures, he's had an amazing adventure.
He does.
He truly has. So let me ask you. So now leap from social media star to comic canine hero.
We got a
Bridge
lot
that
of
gap.
We got a lot of people requesting us to do a kid's book or something like that. Because, as you're on social media, people find out more about you as well. And I used to be an illustrator for magazines and things like that, and a fine art painter, and I did art shows and things of that nature as well. And so I got people saying, well, why don't you do a kid's book of Tugg? Okay, well, we kicked that idea around a little bit. And we thought, well, we could do that because that's just an illustration on a page, but is it just going to tell a story, or what are we going to do with that? You know, and because there's only so many times you want to tell, the story in one publication. And so we decided that since he was a superhero, comic books tend to be superhero-esque, and so we did it as a comic book. And all the proceeds from the comic book and any of the prints and all the art all goes back to help other rescues.
That's fantastic. That's amazing, and his story gets to help other animals.
That's
in
what
need.
it's about.
That's fantastic, man. So,
and kids, with the anti-bullying.
The anti-bullying, that's fantastic, and they, the kids probably just eat him up.
Oh yeah,
they gotta love him.
And we've started a buddy bench program with him now. That is part of the anti-bullying program. Awesome. And it's so that we give it to the school. We make it, we give it to the school.
Great.
And that way, if a child is feeling bullied or left out or anything like that, they can go sit on the bench. And all the kids, because they've been to the program, know that if somebody sits on that bench, they need a friend.
That's amazing. That is so amazing. Now, he's just kind of like chilling. He's just like, hey, we're here, we're doing the show.
Yeah.
This is what you do, right?
Yeah, he's used to it.
Yeah, superstar. Yes, indeed. So normally we get social media questions and we focus on our creators, our authors, and our artists. But we're gonna talk about Tugg. We're gonna talk about Tugg. So, favorite snack?
Cookies.
Cookies.
He likes both dog cookies and like vanilla wafers. And on top of that, beef jerky.
beef jerky. Hey, who doesn't like beef jerky?
Well, and if there's one in particular that he likes, is Rachel Ray's.
Rachel Ray's beef
Dog
jerky.
beef jerky?
Dog beef jerky. Okay, fantastic. Does he have a favorite chew toy, or besides Dad's shoes?
Not really.
Or?
He has a ducky that he's had
Mm-hmm.
ever since he was young when we got him, and we say it's the magic ducky. Ducky has healing powers, and actually the ducky's with us. He goes to every show, and it's the original ducky. He's never tried to chew it up. He'll carry it around and play with it. But
Wow. Now make sure y'all get down below, look for Tugg's Facebook page. We're going to put that in the description so everybody can kind of see where to find Tugg. That's an amazing, amazing story, Blake.
He's a great.
It is.
He really is one in a million.
He's inspiring in his survival, and he's even more inspiring now to anti-bullying and pet rescue, and I mean that's just fantastic. We're going to have to wrap it up. We get about 10 minutes for these segments, but before we do, we want to say thanks to our partners and friends over at Something Unique Magazine, the Florida Book News, Famous Faces and Funnies, a great partner, Wordfire Press, the Historical Miniatures Gaming Society of the South chapter. And, of course, we want to thank Space Coast Comic-Con, Dave and Jake, for having us come on in here. I'm GW Pomichter. We've been hanging with Blake Ovard, the co-creator of the comic Tugg. Check out in the description down below, Tugg, a hero among us. And go on over to Tugg's Facebook page and check that out, see what adventures he's on. Yeah. He's helping kids fight against bullying. He's helping pet rescues to spread the word. And so you guys got to check out Tugg here on the internet. Again, I'm GW Pomichter. Remember, subscribe, log on, tune in, and see who we're hanging with next.